Hi, it's Heather Dunlop, founder of Thriving Woman. What I want to share with you today is how to end the self sabotage. So, this is the self sabotage cure, how to rock your world and live like an unstoppable queen. So, what we're going to talk about today is a couple of things about how self sabotage starts and what you can actually do to end the self sabotage roller coaster and really nightmare of a life. So, if you want to get in touch with me, you can always go to thrivingwomanchat.com and sign on to get on my calendar. But what we're going to talk about today, self sabotage. So, let's talk about when it started. And I want you to think back and go through everything you've done in your life. And I'm sure you've had a lot of things that were very successful. And there might be something in your mind that says, you know what? I didn't quite take it as far as I am capable of taking it. So think back in time over your life and say, when did this all start? What kind of kicked me off from where I was always succeeding and always completing everything and seeing everything through to the end and the amazing, wonderful finish and receiving the accolades and the awards and really celebrating your success, to reaching a point where it's about to be successful and you sabotage it. For me, I used to do this. I used to do this a few times at work. I did this in some events at school. So for me, it went back pretty far. And I'll tell you in just a minute where that started from. But I want you to think about, are there some moments in your life where you were right on the edge of achieving the accolades and the attention and the celebration for having done a phenomenal job? And the opportunity to receive all that kind of triggered something in your head that caused you to sabotage it. So I'll give you an example. I had a job in my early 20s and I was doing really well and always, moving forward and always kind of seen in the spotlight and being praised for the work I was doing because I was ahead of where they expected me to be and I was capable of doing things that they had no idea I was capable of doing. So I would receive some accolades from managers in other departments for the work that I did because they saw me as kind of standing out from the crowd. And there were some things that triggered in me the sabotage of that. So what I started doing was I wouldn't come to work on time and I was always early. All of a sudden I'm showing up to work. It's like 11 or 12 o'clock and I'm supposed to be there at 9. I'm not working a full shift. I'm not doing all the work I'm supposed to do. And I just sabotaged to the point where my manager looked at me and had to call me in his office and was like, what's going on here? Because you're not cutting it. And you used to be doing so well. And now you're not cutting it. We're at the point where you can't even make it to work. And everybody in the office is like, why is she getting away with all this stuff? That was self-sabotage. I was sabotaging my career because something had triggered in me to say, you're doing so well and you've got to ruin it before somebody else takes it from you. What I discovered years later was this resulted back to my childhood. So I've shared many times that I was molested from the time I was age 8 to 12. And the majority of that happened when I did something well. So if I did well in school, my reward was sexual assault. If I did well in sports, the reward was being molested. So that resulted in me as an adult creating this sabotage and this constant cycle of sabotage right before I was going to do really well. Because I would always come in, whether it was a job or it was, some sort of personal event or was it sports, I would always do really well. And then when I started getting the attention for doing well, I blew it up, completely blew it up. So for me, I discovered that it resulted from what happened to me from age 8 to 12. And that manifested for many, many, many years. It was into my 20s, it was into my early 30s before I actually discovered why I was sabotaging everything. Knew it was self-sabotage. I knew I was doing it. And for some reason, I was okay with doing it. When I discovered the cause, the initial, the very, very root, very far back, so that's why I want you to think back, what caused this to come about? That's when I was able to stop it and put an end to the self-sabotage. So the reason I'm bringing this up today is that if you let the self-sabotage fester, and the reason why you are sabotaging everything that you do, if you let that fester and you don't undertake the deep work to really clear it out and get it out of your body, because things fester. They don't just fester in our mind, they're in our subconscious mind. And we can go in there and reorganize that so that it no longer rules what you do. It's just there. It doesn't take over, but it's also held within our bodies. And if you don't do the deep work to really pull that out of your body and get rid of it and rearrange how you process it in your mind, it's always going to run the show in the background. Always. You can think, oh my gosh, I'm doing fantastic. I'm not going to sabotage myself this time. And I'm going to do really well and make it to the end. And I'm going to receive those awards. And I'm going to receive the accolades. And I'm going to receive the raise. And I'm going to celebrate this. And then boom, you're like, what the hell did I do that for? You don't even know where it came from. And that happens when you haven't done the work to clear it out. So that's why I want you to cure the self-sabotage and eradicate it from your body and from your mind. And that comes from doing the deep work. It all starts with being aware. So when you see yourself doing this, I want you to take a minute and say, why? You know, I don't love the question why. But just think back for a minute. Is there something in my history that is causing me to do this? Is there something that I just triggered that's causing this reaction to take over? Because the subconscious mind is so powerful. What the subconscious mind wants to do is it wants to protect us. And it learned from that very first time it happened that protect us was to stop the celebration from happening, to stop you from achieving the full final results, from hitting that goal line. Because when you do, in my instance, when I did, that's when the worst came in. So I want you to think about that for yourself. Is there something like that happened in your life, regardless of why it happened or who it was? We're talking about you, and this is the self-sabotage cure for you. And it starts with you understanding what's triggering that today, right? And then we're going to take responsibility for our own actions. Yep, time to take responsibility. I know we can say, you know, it can be easy to blame. Oh, well, they did this to me here, and person B did that to me there, and the world hates me, and they treat me like crap. My boss never gives me the opportunity to do any of this stuff, and they don't recognize what I'm doing. So it's all his fault that I haven't achieved a promotion or I haven't received a pay raise. Nope, it all comes down to you and your own actions. And it's okay to take responsibility for it, because once you take responsibility, then you can fix it, right? Then you can fix it. And for me, one of the things that I find so powerful in the process is the process of forgiveness and the power of forgiveness. So think about, am I open to forgiving myself for sabotaging everything that I could have had and not having that at this point in life? Instead of sitting there and saying, oh my God, I can't believe I'm so far behind everybody else, or why have I not achieved the goals, and why don't I have the lifestyle that I want to have? It's okay. Today is the moment you take responsibility. You're now aware that you're sabotaging yourself. You take responsibility for your own actions going forward and for everything that brought you to the point where you're at, right? Because it's your life, it's nobody else's. Take responsibility and say, okay, I take responsibility and I claim it. I own this. I did this, and it's okay that I did this, because now that I'm aware, I can change things. And one of the ways to release that mess out of the body and to kind of fix what's going on in your head is the process of forgiveness. It's one of the most powerful things you can do. And it is because it's a gift for yourself. It's not for anybody else. It's for you. So don't let anybody say, you must forgive this person. You must forgive me. I beg you, please, please, please forgive me. You know that scene in Sex and the City where Carrie has cheated on her boyfriend Aiden with Big, and Aiden finds out. And she's like, you have to forgive me. You have to forgive me. Oh my God, you have to forgive me. Please, please. She's begging. No, she has no right to do that. He chooses if he wants to forgive her or not. He chooses how he forgives her. He chooses when he forgives her. It's up to him. She has to forgive herself for her role in what she did. She has to forgive herself for allowing herself to do that and taking that and making that choice. Right? So there's forgiveness on both sides. It's not just the offended who has to forgive the offender. It comes from both sides, and they have to forgive themselves as well. And that's part of the process. So I want you to know that you can end the self-sabotage, have an absolutely fabulous, amazing, wonderful life, live the life of a thriving woman filled up with love and joy, happiness, inner peace, and all of the abundance that comes with that. You can do this, and I want you to do this. I offer a program. It's called Thriving Woman. I've actually got it here. It's a little hard to see here. Right now it's private one-on-one coaching, and I'm in the process of putting together a group program. So if you want one-on-one coaching, or if you want a group program, and I've got online materials to support you through the process, hop on my calendar, and you can do that at thrivingwomanchat.com/chat. Now it's kind of a little weird, but go to thrivingwomanchat.com/chat, hop on my calendar. Let's have a chat, you and me, one-on-one, and talk about how we can end this self-sabotage, and you can move forward to live the life of a thriving woman, because you are meant to thrive in this life. You're not meant to sabotage. You're not meant to kind of feel down in the dumps. You're not meant to carry the burden of the trauma from the past throughout the rest of your life. It's time. It's your time. So come on, hop on my calendar and let's have a chat. Have an amazing day. This is Heather Dunlop. Bye-bye.